What if I told you that one small habit, just a handful of nuts every morning, could dramatically change the way your body ages? Not in some vague, maybe you'll feel better way, but in a measurable, metabolic way that affects your energy, your weight, your heart health, and even your brain. Here's the truth. After age 50, your body isn't just slowing down, it's shifting into a completely different metabolic operating system. Your hormones change, your insulin sensitivity drops, your muscle mass declines, your inflammation slowly rises, and your cells lose some of their ability to repair and regenerate. If you've been eating healthy but still gaining weight, feeling sluggish, or noticing that your cholesterol and blood sugar numbers are creeping up, this is not your fault. It's not a lack of willpower. It's not just aging. It's biology. And biology is something we can influence. Because the real problem isn't calories. It's the quality of fuel you give your body and how that fuel affects your insulin, your liver, your hormones, and your cellular repair systems. Here's what's really going on inside your body after 50. Your body becomes more sensitive to stress, more likely to store fat, and less efficient at burning it. Your liver becomes the gatekeeper of your metabolism. If your liver is overloaded with sugar, alcohol, or processed food, your body starts storing fat instead of burning it. And the one missing piece that most people ignore is this. You can't out-exercise a bad metabolic environment. You must build a metabolic environment that naturally supports fat burning, hormonal balance, and longevity. That's where nuts come in. Now, before you say nuts are fattening, hear me out. Not all fats are created equal, and not all calories behave the same in your body. A handful of nuts every morning does something powerful. It stabilizes blood sugar, improves cholesterol, supports brain health, and feeds your cells with anti-aging nutrients without spiking insulin. What the research shows is that people who eat nuts daily have lower risk of heart disease, improved metabolic health, and even longer lifespans. And the best part, it's simple, sustainable, and natural. So in this video, we're going to do more than just recommend nuts. We're going to explain why nuts matter, what's happening inside your body, and exactly how to use this habit to optimize your metabolism, especially after 50. If you're ready to feel more energetic, leaner, and younger from the inside out, stay with me, because the next few minutes could change your health for years to come. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a high-performance engine. When you're young, the engine runs smoothly, even if the fuel isn't perfect. But after 50, the engine starts to need higher quality fuel and better lubrication. If you keep pouring low-quality fuel into it, the engine begins to accumulate sludge, lose power, and burn inefficiently. Now, here's the key point. Nuts are not just food. They are a metabolic upgrade. Here's what's really going on inside your body after 50. Your cells become less sensitive to insulin. That means your body needs more insulin to do the same job. And when insulin stays high, your body gets stuck in fat storage mode. That's why people gain belly fat even when they are eating less. Your liver is the metabolic control center. If the liver is overloaded with sugar, alcohol, or inflammatory foods, it can't process fat properly. The fat gets deposited in the liver and around the belly. This creates a vicious cycle of inflammation, insulin resistance, and slow metabolism. So what does a handful of nuts do? It lowers the metabolic heat. Nuts are rich in healthy fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, fiber, plant protein, polyphenols, and antioxidants. These nutrients do something crucial. They stabilize blood sugar and reduce insulin spikes. When insulin stays low and steady, your body can burn fat instead of storing it. Let me explain this with a simple whiteboard visual. Imagine a graph. On the left side, you have blood sugar spikes after breakfast. On the right side, you have fat burning. When you eat a high-carb breakfast, your blood sugar rises sharply. Insulin spikes, your body locks into fat storage. But when you eat nuts first, the spike is much smaller. The graph becomes a calm wave instead of a roller coaster. That calm wave is where fat burning happens. Here's what the research shows. Studies consistently show that people who eat nuts daily have better cholesterol, better insulin sensitivity, and lower risk of cardiovascular disease. In fact, regular nut consumption is linked with lower risk of death from heart disease and metabolic causes. And this is the part that matters most for people over 50. Nuts support your mitochondria, your cellular energy factories. As we age, mitochondria become less efficient. That's why you feel tired, foggy, and less motivated. Nuts provide key nutrients that support mitochondrial function and reduce oxidative stress. Practical protocol. Do this every morning. Here is a simple, effective protocol. Every morning, eat one small handful, about 20-30 grams of nuts. Preferably a mix like walnuts for omega-3, almonds for vitamin E, pistachios for potassium and protein. Do this before coffee or breakfast to stabilize blood sugar and improve appetite control. If you want an even more powerful routine, add 1-2 TBSP of chia or flax seeds. Pair with a protein source, Greek yogurt, eggs, or a smoothie. Drink water first, then nuts, then breakfast. This combination supports the liver, stabilizes insulin, and keeps you in fat-burning mode. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you're over 50. Your blood vessels become more sensitive to inflammation and oxidative stress. Your arteries don't age in a vacuum. They age because of what you eat, how you sleep, and how your metabolism behaves. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. When the hose is clean and flexible, water flows easily. But if the inside of the hose gets clogged with mineral deposits, rust and grime, the water pressure drops and the hose becomes rigid. The same thing happens to your blood vessels. Over time, poor metabolic health causes plaque formation, inflammation, and reduced nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps your blood vessels flexible. And here's the critical link. Nuts are one of the most powerful natural foods for improving blood vessel health because nuts contain healthy fats, especially monounsaturated fats, fiber plant protein, antioxidants, arginine, a building block for nitric oxide. Let me explain the physiology. Nitric oxide is your body's relaxation molecule. It tells blood vessels to widen, reduces blood pressure, and improves blood flow. As we age, nitric oxide production naturally declines. That's why people over 50 often develop hypertension, poor circulation, and fatigue. But nuts help restore the system. When you eat nuts regularly, you provide your body with arginine, which supports nitric oxide production. You also reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, which protects the lining of your blood vessels. Here's the whiteboard-style visual. Imagine your blood vessel as a road. Inflammation is like potholes and debris. Nitric oxide is like a road crew that repairs and smooths the surface. Nuts help fuel that road crew. Now let's connect this to longevity. What the research shows is that people who eat nuts daily live longer and have fewer heart-related deaths. This isn't just correlation. The nutrients in nuts improve lipid profiles, reduce inflammation, and support vascular health, which directly impacts lifespan. But the most important point for you is this: heart health is metabolic health. When your insulin is high and your liver is stressed, your blood vessels suffer. You may not feel it immediately, but the damage builds silently over time. That's why nuts are such a strategic morning habit. They help you stabilize blood sugar, reduce insulin spikes, support healthy cholesterol, improve vascular flexibility. Practical daily routine, heart-focused. Here's a simple, realistic protocol you can use every morning. Eat one small handful of nuts first thing, preferably walnuts plus almonds or mixed nuts with no salt. Add 1 cup of green tea or herbal tea. Green tea contains polyphenols that support blood vessel health. Walk for 10 minutes after breakfast. Light movement improves circulation and supports nitric oxide production. Avoid refined carbs in the morning. If you eat a sugary breakfast, you cancel out the benefits of nuts. When you make this routine consistent, you're not just eating nuts. You're rebuilding your metabolic and vascular system from the inside out. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you struggle to lose weight after 50. It's not just calories, it's insulin. Insulin is the storage hormone. When insulin is high, your body is in fat storage mode. When insulin is low and stable, your body is in fat burning mode. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin like a traffic cop at a busy intersection. When insulin is high, the cop stops fat from leaving the storage parking lot. When insulin is low, the cop lets fat out to be burned as fuel. As we age, many people develop insulin resistance, which means the body needs more insulin to do the same job. This is why you can eat healthy and still gain weight, because your body is stuck in storage mode. So where do nuts come in? Nuts are one of the best foods for controlling insulin. They are low in carbs, high in fiber, and loaded with healthy fats. That combination keeps blood sugar stable and prevents the insulin roller coaster. Here's the whiteboard visual. Imagine two lines. Line A, high carb breakfast. Sugar spike, insulin spike. Hunger returns quickly, more cravings. Fat storage. Line B, nuts breakfast. Small rise, stable blood sugar, steady insulin, fewer cravings, fat burning. Which line would you choose? Nuts create a metabolic environment that supports fat loss, especially after 50, when insulin sensitivity naturally declines. Now, here's a powerful concept many people miss. Fat loss is not about eating less. It's about training your body to burn fat again. And the first step to fat burning is insulin stabilization. The most effective morning fat loss protocol, simple and realistic. Here's a protocol you can use immediately. Every morning, eat one handful of nuts, 20-30 grain, preferably walnuts, omega-3 plus brain support, almonds, vitamin E plus fiber, pistachios, protein plus minerals. Then wait 15 to 20 minutes before eating your next meal. Why? Because this gives your body time to stabilize blood sugar and start fat burning. Next, add a protein source within 60 minutes. Eggs, Greek yogurt, protein, smoothie, cottage cheese. This combination improves satiety and supports muscle preservation, critical after 50. Why muscle matters? After 50, muscle mass declines naturally. Muscle is your metabolic engine. More muscle, more calorie burning at rest. Nuts support muscle health by providing plant protein magnesium, healthy fats. When you pair nuts with protein and movement, you create a metabolic environment that encourages fat loss and preserves muscle. The research connection. What the research shows is that people who eat nuts regularly tend to have lower body weight and better metabolic markers, including improved insulin sensitivity and lower inflammation. This is why nuts are a consistent feature in the healthiest longevity diets in the world. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day. Here's what's really going on inside your body after 50. Your hormones are shifting, especially thyroid, estrogen, testosterone, and cortisol. Your brain is also more sensitive to inflammation and oxidative stress. And the truth is, most people don't realize how much their diet affects hormone balance and brain function. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a finely tuned orchestra. Each hormone is an instrument. When they play together, you feel energetic, focused, and strong. But after 50, a few instruments start falling out of tune. If your hormones are out of balance, you may feel fatigue, low motivation, brain fog, stubborn belly fat, mood swings, poor sleep. This is where nuts become a quiet, powerful tool. Nuts are loaded with nutrients that support hormone production, brain function, neurotransmitter, balance, cellular repair. Why walnuts are especially important. Walnuts are unique because they are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fats, especially alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. Omega-3 fats are crucial for brain health, mood regulation, inflammation control, cardiovascular support. As we age, omega-3s become more important because the brain becomes more vulnerable to oxidative stress. And omega-3s are one of the most effective natural anti-aging nutrients for the brain. Here's the whiteboard visual. Imagine your brain as a high-speed computer. Oxidative stress is like dust inside the system. Omega-3 fats are like the cleaning tool that removes dust and improves processing speed. Now let's talk about another key nut, almonds. Almonds are high in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant. Vitamin E helps protect your cells from oxidative damage and supports healthy skin, hair, and immune function. And pistachios? Pistachios are a great source of plant protein, potassium, and B vitamins, which support energy, adrenal function, and stress resilience. Hormone support protocol, simple and effective. Here is a morning routine that supports hormones and brain health. Eat 1 handful of nuts, mix walnuts plus almonds plus pistachios. Add 1 cup of berries, antioxidants plus fiber. Include a protein source, Greek yogurt, eggs, or a smoothie. Do 10 minutes of sunlight exposure, support circadian rhythm and hormone balance. This routine supports cortisol regulation, thyroid function, estrogen balance, brain health, and focus. The research connection. What the research shows is that regular nut consumption is linked with improved cognitive function and reduced risk of cognitive decline. This is especially important after 50 because brain health is not a later problem. It's a daily lifestyle outcome. The key takeaway is this: nuts are not just a snack. They are a foundational metabolic tool for hormone balance and brain longevity. If you're feeling tired, foggy, or emotionally unstable, it's not just stress. It may be your body asking for better fuel. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you eat what you think is a healthy breakfast, but still feel tired, bloated, or heavier than you want to be. You're being tricked by a marketing illusion. Many breakfast foods are labeled healthy because they're low in fat or whole grain. But here's the problem. They still spike your insulin. And insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store fat. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin as a key that opens a door to your fat storage. Every time your blood sugar rises quickly, your pancreas releases insulin. That insulin opens the door and says, put the energy into storage. Now imagine doing this every morning with a healthy breakfast, like oatmeal cereal, granola, fruit, smoothie, bagel, or toast. These foods may be nutritious, but they are still high in carbohydrates, which causes a blood sugar spike. That spike triggers insulin. And the next thing you know, you feel hungry again by 10:30 a.m. You may even crave sugar or coffee. This is the metabolic cycle that keeps people trapped in fat storage. Now here's where nuts become a powerful intervention. Nuts are the opposite of a blood sugar spike. They provide healthy fats, fiber, protein, antioxidants, and they do something else that most people overlook. They reduce appetite. When you eat nuts in the morning, you naturally eat less throughout the day. This is not about restriction. It's about stabilizing your metabolic environment. Whiteboard style explanation. Picture a scale. On one side is insulin. On the other side is fat burning. If insulin is high, fat burning is low. If insulin is low and stable, fat burning is high. Nuts help you tip the scale in the right direction. The research connection. What the research shows is that nut consumption is linked with improved satiety and lower calorie intake overall. In fact, many studies show that nut eaters tend to weigh less, even though nuts are calorie dense. Why? Because nuts improve insulin sensitivity and reduce cravings. A simple nuts first breakfast protocol. Here's a realistic routine you can start tomorrow. First thing in the morning, eat a handful of nuts, 20-30 grams, about a small handful. Wait 15 to 20 minutes, then eat a protein-rich breakfast. Examples: eggs plus as vegetables, Greek yogurt plus berries, smoothie with protein powder, plus greens, cottage cheese, plus cinnamon. Avoid high-carb breakfast foods for 3 to 4 days, and notice the difference. When you do this, your energy becomes more stable, your cravings drop, and your body shifts toward fat burning. This is how you fix the root cause instead of just treating the symptoms. A final thought on consistency. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. A small habit like nuts every morning is not magic. It's a metabolic anchor. It anchors your blood sugar, stabilizes insulin, and supports fat burning. And when you do this consistently, your body begins to respond. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you feel like you're aging faster than your calendar suggests. Your cells aren't just getting older, they're getting overloaded. Over time, your body accumulates oxidative stress, inflammation, damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, cellular waste. This is why energy drops, fat accumulates, and your body becomes less resilient. But there's a natural process your body uses to clean up this cellular waste. It's called autophagy, your body's cellular recycling system. Autophagy is like a house cleaning service for your cells. When it works well, your cells stay youthful and efficient. When it slows down, you feel older, slower, and more inflamed. Now here's the connection. Fasting activates autophagy. But fasting can be difficult for many people, especially if you're over 50 and you're already dealing with hormonal shifts, stress, or blood sugar issues. This is where nuts come in as a powerful bridge. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Think of fasting like a deep clean for your house. It's powerful, but it's intense. Now imagine you have a smaller daily cleaning routine that keeps the house tidy and makes the deep clean easier. That's what nuts do. Eating nuts in the morning helps stabilize blood sugar and insulin, which makes fasting easier and more sustainable. The metabolic logic behind it. When insulin stays low, your body can shift into fat burning and cellular repair. When insulin is high, your body remains in storage mode. Nuts support the low insulin environment. They also provide magnesium for energy and sleep, healthy fats for brain and hormone support, antioxidants for inflammation control. This combination makes fasting more tolerable and effective. Whiteboard-style explanation. Imagine a switch. Insulin high, just fat storage mode. Insulin low, fat burning plus autophagy mode. Nuts help you keep the switch in the right position. A practical fasting protocol for people over 50. Here's a simple routine you can try. Option A, nuts plus coffee tea fast, 7:90 a.m. Eat 1 handful of nuts, 7:15 a.m. Drink black coffee or green tea, 8 now at 12 hot p.m. Continue fasting, water, tea, black coffee. 12 hot p.m. Break fast with a protein plus vegetable meal, option B, 16.8 with nuts. 8 konakwexi a.m. nuts, 12 p.m. first meal, 8 hawit p.m. last meal. This method supports fat-burning stable energy, reduced cravings, better insulin sensitivity. Why this works for longevity. What the research shows is that intermittent fasting improves metabolic markers, reduces inflammation, and supports cellular repair. When you pair fasting with nuts, you're supporting the body's natural systems instead of fighting them. And this matters because longevity isn't about avoiding calories. It's about creating an environment where your cells can repair and regenerate. This is the root cause approach. Not eat less, but support your metabolism. Let's bring this full circle. After age 50, your body is not just older. It's operating in a different metabolic environment. Your hormones change, your insulin sensitivity shifts, your liver becomes more vulnerable, and your cells slowly lose their ability to repair themselves. So the real question isn't, why am I gaining weight? The real question is, what metabolic environment am I creating every day? And that's why this simple habit matters so much. Because nuts are not just a snack. They are a metabolic tool that supports your body's core systems, especially when you're over 50. They stabilize blood sugar. They reduce insulin spikes. They support heart and blood vessel health. They protect your brain. They support hormones. They help you burn fat. And they improve longevity markers. Here's the key takeaway. If you want to age well, you must fix the root cause, not just the symptoms. You must support your liver, stabilize your insulin, and give your cells the nutrients they need to repair and regenerate. And the good news is this. You don't need a complicated plan. You don't need a perfect diet. You don't need to start over. You just need one small, consistent habit. A handful of nuts every morning. That's it. It's a simple step, but it has powerful ripple effects. Because when your blood sugar stays stable, your cravings decrease. When your insulin stays low, your body burns fat. When your inflammation drops, your arteries stay flexible. When your brain gets omega-3s and antioxidants, your focus improves. When your hormones stabilize, your energy returns. So here is your challenge. Try this for the next 7 days. Every morning, eat one small handful of nuts, preferably walnuts plus almonds, and pair it with a protein source within an hour. Notice your energy, your cravings, your hunger, and your mood, and track the difference. If you're serious about optimizing your metabolic health, weight, and longevity naturally, this is one of the simplest, most effective habits you can adopt. If this added value, like the video and subscribe to join others optimizing their health naturally.